So at what point did you shit your pants? Just wondering. Just wondering.
When I saw the leaves moving, like they doing a movie, and it's like, oh, something's coming. I was like, this is gonna be bad.
When did you become unbothered?
Wow. So can I ask you a question right back? Just
Sure.
define unbothered for me.
Okay, so I usually define it this way is that it doesn't mean you don't care. It means that we all arrive and graduate to a point where we're going to do us regardless. That you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not worried about how people think of you. You're not worried about being judged for your decisions. Like you're really just going to do and be you. So I just
Oh
would
wow.
love to know
Okay.
when that came for you.
There was a moment, probably about 6 years ago, and I was training. I kickbox, okay, and I decided that I wanted to fight a professional fight, and I had to go through this incredible journey, which involved a documentary and involved a year of training, involved me getting my professional boxing license and fighting in this very famous venue in London called York Hall, where all the great boxers and fighters have ever fought. And I remember stepping into that arena. Kickboxing, boxing, very dangerous. You walk in, you might not walk out. That's just a plain fact. Is you can get damaged. And I was 44, and everyone was like, "Are you sure about this, bro?" Like, and the guy I was fighting, he was like 10. He was experienced, had 10 professional fights. And I just remember sitting in that ring in my corner, looking at that guy and thinking, I really don't care. I made the journey. The journey has been made. It was one of the biggest obstacles of my life because I was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I made it. I was there and I was about to go into the ring, and I just felt to myself, that's it. I don't care what people think of me at this junction, because if I go down, it doesn't matter. I made it here. And that was definitely a big shift in everything. I won the fight, came out of there with such like a feeling of triumph. Win, lose, whatever, I still would have had that feeling of triumph, but to win was incredible, and it shifted my thinking.
Well, not to give too much away about Beast, but let's just say you take some licks in this one.
Yeah,
The lion is kind of no joke. You know what I'm saying?
this guy, my character is no hero. Let's put it that way.
No, no, not in the way that I think maybe some people might be perceiving how this movie is. I know you have worked a lot with Will Packer, and this is another collaboration that you all have. What was it about? Because I love Will Packer's description of it. I think he said his so the writer of the film or executive producer director of the film whose idea was called it Jaws but with lions. And so, what was it that drew you to playing this character in this role?
There's a combination of things, Look, one, and this is a big one, I chose to make this film at a time when we weren't sure whether cinema was going to be back on its feet. It's kind of trailing out of the pandemic, and there was talk of this ever getting back into the cinema. I come from the culture of cinema, and I wanted to put people in the cinema. How do we do that? Well, we make a commercial film and just drive audiences back and make something that's hopefully relatable. In this sense, it's a family man. He's not an action hero. He's not a tough guy. This is a father that's doting his ex-wife and goes to Africa with his two daughters to go and mourn her, and it all goes wrong from there. And I just wanted to play something that was relatable, but at the same time had that thrill, had that let's get back to the cinema, feeling. Um, Look, Will Pack is always a draw for me. Like whenever he calls me and says, "Look, I want to do something," I always examine that. But in this film, it was about this is survival. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting. It's an African American family in the heart of a survival movie. You don't see that very often because people be like, "What you doing out there anyway? Get your ass home," whatever that is, right? And so for me, it was the family dynamic. It was the survival dynamic. This is something that we may not have seen before. I know that, the poster looks like I might be the beast, my character might be the beast, but he is not. He's a man that's just like, I will do anything to fight for my daughters. And he does. And, I think there are some people that might feel a little anticlimactic because, this is he's meant to be this macho fighting guy, and he's not. You know what I'm saying? He just does what he has to do. So that was the appeal to me. It's kind of like all those ingredients, stuck into one box, and hopefully take the audience on a journey.
As I said, Will described it as Jaws, but with lions. And I was thinking like, this is Daddy's little girls, but instead of fighting the baby mama from hell in the Atlanta hood, is lions in South Africa. um, but I did like the fact that, I mean, your character is somebody who's, not some superhero or not some, that adds to the terror of it. And I wish I would have been able to see it in the theater. I watched it at home. But I guess in a way it was good because I was yelling at your kids this whole damn movie, like, didn't he tell you to stay in the car? You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn it, stay in
That's
the
what
car.
happened. That's what happened at the theater when we went to the premiere. People were screaming at the screen like mad. Like, oh, there she go. You need to.
Right.
And one person came up to me. He was like, yo, man, why you kept leaving your daughters? Why'd you keep leaving them? I was like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What else was I supposed to do? He's like, no, man, you got to stay there. You don't know how to shoot a gun? I'm like, no, man. I mean, he's having this discussion with this guy.
That is funny. What is your most memorable encounter with an animal?
Wow, good question. Most memorable. Whew, a gorilla. I went to Rwanda. I was making a film in Rwanda, and we had the privilege of going up to the top of the mountain and just observing the gorillas. And I never forget the sort of ranger guy that was leading us. He was like, "Look, man, there are some rules here. Gorillas don't play humans. They will just snap your neck in a heartbeat if they feel you're encroaching. So you just have to be very respectful no matter what happens." And he talked us through the body language. If a gorilla comes up to you, you have to bow down and no eye contact and just make yourself as small as possible. And we rolled all the way up this mountain, up there, and boom, just like we were all crouched down, and there was all these gorillas. And there was this one baby gorilla that was just sort of really curious about us. And he was coming towards us. And the ranger was like, oh, no, 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 no. Everyone just stay down, stayed. And as he was saying that, I just saw like these leaves rumbling away. And this silverback gorilla came charging, whoom, past the baby, knocked the baby out, and just stood right in front of the ranger. And this was like, ah! Banging his chest. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Like, if you just imagine the biggest football player you've ever seen, but twice, okay? And then just the head was huge. And when it roared, like I could just feel the heat of his breath because it was literally there. And he just was like, and the ranger was like, cool. He was talking to it. The guy was talking to it because he knew. He's like, okay, I'm okay. Don't worry. I'm just going. We're going to leave you alone. And the guy and Silverback just walked away. I never
So,
forget.
so at what point did you shit your pants? Just wondering. Just wondering.
When I saw the leaves moving, like they doing a movie, and it's like, oh, something's coming. I was like, this is gonna be bad.